Hello and thanks for joining us. So the news at 10 on NTA News 24. I am Minna Daniels. Let's take the headlines. Vice President Kashim Shettima highlights responsibilities of judiciary to society. Alteration of immunity bills kills second reading in House of Representatives. Federal government declares March 31st and April 1st public holidays for Eid-el-Fitr celebration. Vice President Kashim Shettima has enjoined the nation's judiciary to remain steadfast as custodians of the law. Vice President gave the advice during the official opening of the maiden body of benches annual lecture in Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jubrila reports.
This is the body of benches maiden annual lecture, featuring the public presentation of the report of the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, and was unveiled by Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima.
The body has constantly availed itself of the opportunity of introspection by a platform for intellectual through practical reflection of the dynamics of changes in the world and embrace rapid technological advancement, particularly in artificial intelligence, global commerce, and digital governance. Your role as custodians of justice must evolve to meet the demands of the modern era.
Today, more than ever, there is an urgent need to recommit ourselves to the fundamental values of ethics, discipline, and professional responsibility. It is instructive to note that the body of benches, as the apex institution of the legal profession in Nigeria, is uniquely positioned to lead the charge in this regard.
With the theme "Half a Century of the Body of Benches, the Past, the Present and the Future of Maintaining the Ethics of Legal Profession in Nigeria," with former Governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Fashola, doing justice to the topic as keynote speaker.
Law practice is not a trade, it's a profession. So, profession has trumped trade. But what is undeniable is that the law profession, especially the barrister's work, is rooted in laws, is rooted in usages, traditions, and culture, all of which are learned in practice rather than in the classroom.
This is why the legal profession carries a burden unlike any other. You, my lords and eminent jurists, are not just interpreters of the law, you are custodians of justice. But this role is not without its burdens. The expectations are high, and the temptations are many. Yet I urge you, my lords and eminent jurists, to remain steadfast. To borrow the words of the eminent jurist Lord Atkin, justice is not a wasted virtue. It must be allowed to suffer the scrutiny of reasonable men.
Vice President Kashim Shettima reminded the legal professionals that the foundation of a great nation is built on the ethical sensitivity of the institutions that uphold justice, and the body of benches representing the highest traditions of the legal profession is key. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Jubrila, NTA News.
And to the legislature now, a legislative framework that will make registration of citizens compulsory has been passed at the Senate. The bill seeks to ensure the provision of a harmonious identity system in Nigeria that is free of inaccuracies, cost-effective, and in compliance with best global practices. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The Senate Committee on National Identity Card and Population, while submitting the report on the National Identity Management Commission Repeal and Reenactment Bill for consideration and passage, gave highlights of the legislation, which seeks to, among others, enable establishment of a database and enhance registration and issuance of identity card for citizens of Nigeria.
To strengthen the legal framework of national and digital identity, thereby creating an optimal foundational identification ecosystem that fosters inclusion, universal coverage and accessibility.
I pray that this bill will ensure that we have proper record and proper data to plan not just for the current generation, but for future generations of Nigerians. Thank you.
Senate also passed the bill to establish Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences, BIDA, in Niger State, forwarded from the House of Representatives for concurrence. Senate has, in response to a motion from Senator Asukwo Ekpenyo, mandated its Committee on Communications to investigate factors driving the high cost of data in Nigeria, as it calls for a downward review.
The reasons provided by telecom providers for the data price hike include high operational costs, unfavorable exchange rates, are untenable, and appears that instead of addressing the root causes of the high cost of doing business in Nigeria, the burden is being unfairly transferred to end users.
I'm particularly interested in this because of the manner it affects the young men who are in larger population in this country, who are the most productive sector. They rely on data to acquire resources that we are not able to provide for them.
Plenary featured the confirmation of appointments of the part-time chairman of Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, Dr. Bala Bello, alongside 5 non-executive directors, as requested by President Bola Tinubu. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Still from the National Assembly, a bill for an act to alter the 1999 Constitution to define and spell out the president's immunity has scaled the hurdle of second reading in the House of Representatives. This proposed amendment also seeks to strip the vice president, state governors and their deputies of their immunity in a bid to step up accountability in public office. National Assembly correspondent Meitai Ben has details of Wednesday's plenary.
42 constitution alteration bills passed second reading at Wednesday's plenary in the House of Representatives, covering devolution of powers, state creation, citizenship rights, strengthening of institutions, and local government administration.
The bill seeking to limit immunity only to the president also seeks to specify the scope of presidential immunity. It proposes that immunity shall be inapplicable in a situation of criminal conduct or when acting in unofficial capacity. The sponsor believes this will curb impunity and corruption in public office. Other bills that scaled second reading include proposals to separate the offices of the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, to give state governments the green light to create and fund local governments, as well as to strengthen local government autonomy.
Everything we are doing here is to provide for uniformity nationwide, so that state A will not go and say we have 2 years, and state B will say we have 3 years, so that it becomes an offense by any governor or anybody that will tamper with the local government system.
Removing mining, natural resources, which will include oil and gas, which is altering section 44 of the Constitution, where you're removing them from the exclusive list and taking them to the concurrent list.
The House commended President Bola Tinubu for signing the Southwest and South-South Development Commission bills into law.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Parliament, it's a very important bill that you just assented to. I am sure that with the Development Commission, the impact of this administration in its effort to leave the mandate of the Renewed Hope agenda will be felt by the grassroots.
At the relaunch of the Nigeria Parliamentary Tuberculosis Caucus, there were assurances that Parliament will take decisive legislative actions to combat the disease.
The 10th House of Representatives has, through our legislative agenda, shown commitment towards reforming the healthcare sector.
This is therefore a clarion call for Nigerian parliamentarians to strengthen efforts to ensure these targets are met and that our country meets the United Nations high-level meeting targets to end TB by 2030.
From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikmen, NTA News.
The federal government has declared Monday, March 31st and Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 as public holidays to mark Eid-el-Fitr. The Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, who made the announcement in a statement, congratulates Muslims on the successful completion of Ramadan and urges them to uphold values of self-discipline, compassion and peace. He calls on Nigerians to use the period to pray for national unity and prosperity while celebrating responsibly and supporting the less privileged. The minister extends Eid al-Mubarak wishes on behalf of the government, hoping the season brings happiness and fulfillment to all. Nigeria's Social Insurance Trust Fund is re-strategizing to ensure efficient payment of compensation to victims of workplace accidents. Managing Director of NSI Oluwaseun Faleye at a media parley says the broad effort includes incorporating the informal sector into its employees' compensation scheme. Joseph Otsen reports.
With the understanding that secure workforce can motivate staff to perform better, the federal government wants to enhance its social security to drive productivity and boost the economy.
Knowing that whenever anything happens, as they are sometimes bound to happen, they will have the social safety nets to cater for them, be it in their dependents, be it in time of accident, in terms of disability, in time of mental health challenges. Really helps in solidifying the confidence of employees in giving their best in their place of work.
Though the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund is entrusted with this responsibility and has been executing the tax, government is working to expand the reach of its social safety net to align with the current administration's poverty alleviation agenda.
The informal economy is the most vibrant economy for us. 70% of our economic activities is within that economy. And we believe that tailoring or finding a social safety net within the employee compensation scheme that works for that economy, as diverse and as dynamic as they may be, would portend greater things for us in Nigeria.
But the most resonant stories are human interest stories, where you see actual people that are benefiting from the initiatives of NSITF.
In 2023, the federal government issued a circular mandating the public sector to contribute 1% of staff emoluments to the employee compensation scheme of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund. Incorporating all private and informal sectors in the scheme, the fund believes will enhance better service delivery. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. More reports after the break.
Ramadan with Bafi and enjoy up to 40% off on selected products from living room, dining room, bedroom, and royal sets. Pay less, save more, and refresh your home for iftar gatherings and cherished moments with family and friends. Visit our showrooms in Abuja, Lagos, Kano, and Enugu, or shop online to enjoy our exclusive Ramadan sale. Let's make this Ramadan unforgettable.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, one person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, one person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Thanks for joining us again. It's World Theatre Day, and the theme for this year's celebration is Theatre and a Culture of Peace. The theme undoubtedly highlights the role of theatre in fostering peace and understanding through the power of storytelling and performance. Now, Paul Papel is a Nigerian filmmaker known for his expertise in cinematography, directing, editing, and storytelling. He has directed several acclaimed films and TV series, including The Bond 2007, Eagle's Swing, Blue Flames 2013, and Purple 2016, to mention just a few. Well, he now joins us via Zoom to speak on the day. Good morning to you, Paul, and thanks for joining us on the news at 10.
Good morning and thank you.
All right. Please do share with us the significance of this day.
It's a very important day to mark because we know that we've molded our lives from stories, plays that we've seen, films that we've watched. And so marking a day like this is good for the society, because it's when the practitioners are remembered that they are doing a good job to mold the society generally. So I believe it's a day to celebrate the craft, and of course to remember what the craft does. You know, it molds society. Well, positive and negative quite well, but I know that it's a tool that is used positively. It will mold the society in a better light.
Well, apart from using theatre to foster peace, it's supposed to also be a means of correcting societal ills. So how well are we doing with that in the industry?
I think we can give kudos to Nollywood and the theatre practitioners to some extent, because we have managed to put the country on the map of the world. And people are consuming our content everywhere, and even much more now. And I think we have also told good stories that have molded society positively. We also know there were some that we say have pushed the narrative very negatively, but give and take, it has helped the society in greater measures than I would say negatively. So the practitioners are doing well. And very recently, our quality of productions have improved. Our storytelling also have improved. So I think we have achieved so much in the last few years, improving both for stage and film practices. So I give kudos to the industry for a leap in what we're doing.
And the state of theater in Nigeria, are we in the promised land, Paul?
Well, the advent of social media has made everybody want to look at things in their palm. And so that has also presented a new challenge. But if going to a theater to watch drama, it's a culture that takes you to a different level of entertainment. If the practitioners can keep pushing for this, it gives you a different feel. It's just like when you're in the cinema, it's a different feel. When it's different from when you watch a film from your phone. So when you're in this theater, you see the stage play. You're a different environment, different feel completely. And you're very practical with the practitioners and you feel the energy in them. So I believe that aspect is important. Though the phones have come, the tablets have come to ease things so that you just turn around and see the same medium, even see the stage plays in your palm. But going to the theaters, the environment, it's a different feeling altogether. But I think we are losing passing that information to the younger ones to know that there's a difference in the feel of how you feel when you're in the theater environment and when the people are displaying on stage. I think that is lacking a bit because of the advent of technology, actually.
To go, Paul. And of course, on a lighter note, I hear Nigerians are now less expressive. Have you noticed that?
Oh, I think the energy an average Nigerian has, it's you can't tone it down. Actually, we are getting there. We are expressing more in our music, in our plays. Just look at the internet and see the energy that Nigerians is at. I think we are just happy people with so much to give, and so we just pray that the environment is right for us to express ourselves even more.
Thank you so much for being our guest on the news at 10, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And moving forward, supporting each other and embracing education, communication, and modern technology are key enablers to improving the life of the women folk. Viva and Eza DFA reports that these were some of the key messages that resonated at the International Women's Day celebration organized by the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists in collaboration with the Wives of FCT Traditional Rulers Association.
No doubt the backbone of any family and society at large. This implies that educating a woman equates to educating the nation. Still, in the spirit of the International Women's Day, the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ, FCT chapter, rolled out the drums to amplify the voices of rural women whose efforts have long been overlooked.
An appeal to all the well-being Nigerians, not only the government. We look for where to put our hands, our money. So please, let's look at that area. That educational areas and the rural area is one thing we should look at. Let's try to have the people at the rural areas, the young ones, the young boys and young girls that are just coming up.
Whatever name we are called, if we do not also pay attention to the rural dweller, our job is not yet done.
Other supporters of women's empowerment, including His Royal Highness Luka Ayedu Nzanzan III, Isu of Kwali Area Council, Abuja, reiterated commitments to advocating for women's financial independence, emphasizing the importance of giving rural women the opportunity to speak for themselves.
It's dedicated rather to truth and commitment to amplifying the voices of the marginalized. The marginalized plays a decisive role in advancing the cause of women. This event is one of your achievements. You are the storytellers, the advocates, and the champions of change, ensuring that the narratives of women are heard and their impacts are recognized.
Women actually desire the best of places in the society so that the society can be better than what we have now.
This year's celebration is theme Accelerate Action, with NAWOJ tagging its own event, amplifying the voices of rural women. In Abuja, Vivian Izadifi, NTA News.
Sports is next.
Rivers United fell to a 1-0 defeat against Bayelsa United in the Nigeria Premier Football League MPFL Matchday 31 encounter at the Samson Siasia Stadium, Yenagoa, on Wednesday. Bayelsa United got their goal through Kehinde Lawal in the 13th minute. The defeat put a dent on Rivers United's chances of winning the title. Finidi George's side, who occupy second position on the table, are still 5 points adrift leaders, Remo Stars. In Umuahia, Abia Warriors boosted their chances of securing a continental ticket following a 2-0 win over Lobi Stars. Sunday Megwa and Anthony Ichoma scored both goals for the hosts. Kwara United recorded a 1-0 win over Nasarawa United, with Lawala Bayomi scoring the decisive goal in the 64th minute. In Ijebu-Ode, former champions Heartland were held to a 0-0 draw by Sunshine Stars at the Otumba Dikwa Dino Stadium in Ijebu-Ode. Emmanuel Amunike's side are now winless in their last 7 league outings. Kano Pillars and Bendel Insurance, however, battled to a goalless draw at the Sani Abacha Stadium.
And that concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Mina Daniels.